Hello everyone, this is the Canon 10 to 18mm EF-S review. Now, if your camera has a white rectangle on it, like a Canon 80D or a crop sensor camera, then you can use it. So this lens is not for full frame cameras. First off, I want to start the review by saying this is an awesome lens and I recommend you should buy it. It's about $300. So initially I bought this lens for a South Island trip where there's big mountains, big waterfalls, and the guy at the camera shop was like, you need to buy this lens. So I've had it for nearly a year now, and there's a few reasons why I love the lens. First off, there's moments that you want to capture where there's a huge scene in front of you, whether that's a big waterfall, a big mountain, a big building, or a scene that sort of stretches across the whole frame. The 10 to 18mm, it's really good at conveying that sense of scale and what you see. So I'll show you some photos, and as you can see in these photos, it's just showing footage of the scale of these mountains are crazy, and when you're there, it's something that without this lens you couldn't really get that same sense of scale. So if you're thinking of upgrading from your kit lens to a new lens, this is a really cool addition because it's so different. While all the other lenses you might buy might be better quality, they might be sharper, they might be a prime lens, with a wide angle lens you're just capturing things in a different format than you would with any of those other lenses. And that's probably just a function of it being a wide angle lens. Granted, you're not going to want to take this lens out with you on every single occasion, but when you have a vista or a mountain or whatever it is that you're shooting, the lens is pretty hard to beat. A good example here is this Indian traffic photo that I've got hanging on my wall, and here's the photo before, taken from the Canon kit lens, the 18 to 135mm, and the image is alright, like it captures a good variety of action, but here's the same, it's taken from the same location with a wider angle on the 10 to 18mm, and this is wide open at 10mm, and I really like the camera here because it sort of captures the traffic bending around the corner, and it just gave that sense of scale of what was going on. So that was a case I was really glad to have the lens. And now here's some photos taken before and after processing in Lightroom. And I suppose like any photo, the photo's going to look better once you've processed it. But with these wide angle photos, I was really impressed by how sharp you could make the image. And I'm just an amateur Lightroom editor, so I sort of just stumble around on the buttons and try to make it look kind of cool in the way that I like. But that crispness is quite surprising because when it comes out of the camera you don't really capture that sense of detail, but then in Lightroom you can really bring to life certain elements. So in this waterfall shot, for example, you know, you can see the water's like popping out, the colors are really nice. Also got this sort of weird bend to it because those mountains in the distance are, I think they're nearly 1,000 meters high. The lens is great for vlogging, especially when you're walking around. So here's some shots of me walking around. You can see it's got a good depth of field, it's got a good wide angle, so it captures you as the subject talking well, it captures the background really well. A key thing I like is, as well, is when you're walking around, you don't have to have your screen out checking to see if you're in the frame, because you know the camera's so wide, you can just close the back, focus on looking straight down the lens, and get on with talking about whatever you're talking about. So a couple of things I've noticed in terms of the lens performance, especially around low light. It seems obviously it's got quite a high aperture, it's 4.5 to 5.6. Quite interesting taking this out on a tripod at night or a tripod in low light and seeing how the images came out. Another thing is that because the lens is so wide, I do notice you get a lens flare quite a bit. Initially I thought that was me just being a bad photographer, but then looking at other people's photos of it, that apparently this is quite a common thing with this lens. So that's probably just something to look out for. But really, apart from those two little things, this lens is fantastic. I'm so stoked that I bought it. From the moment I've had it in the camera bag, I always seem to swap between this and the kit lens. Sometimes I'll just take the same photo, like in that traffic example, then I'll put the wide angle on it, and it just gives you a great new perspective. So in conclusion, if you're looking for a lens to upgrade from a kit lens, or if you're just looking for a new lens to add to your bag and you're on the fence about getting the 10 to 18mm, it's something that I highly recommend you do. Especially, like, proofs in the pudding, the two photos that we have in our lounge are taken from this lens, and they're things that I'm proud of having on the wall. All in all, yeah, a great lens, and I'm real stoked that I got it. Hope you enjoyed the review, and see you in the next video. Oh, and really exciting news, I am getting a really cool lens today. Quite different from this one. Wonder if you can guess what it is. No doubt you'll be seeing some videos from it soon, but I am so excited for it. So sweet, look out for that, and we'll see you in the next video.